Hi there, Ron.
Yeah, I don't think there is any major agenda today. Maybe it will be a repeat of the OCA demo here, I think, for the folks in the CNCF side.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I saw on the agenda was more discussion on the OCI volume source stuff.
Okay.
Is the Sally O'Malley comment just referring to who submitted the CAP, or are they planning to present?
Uh, yeah, don't know yet. Don't know. Maybe it's just someone who has submitted it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the author of the CAP, but I wasn't sure if that was saying they wanted to present here or something.
Okay, we'll see. Let's see. We'll talk about it briefly. It's not a big deal. So,
Okay. Yeah, in general, I saw that and thought it was curious to have that here just because everything Sally's been saying in the PR has been let's not include artifacts, let's only do images.
that is becoming a harder sell, right? I think it is people there is pressure to basically expand that scope of things. So people want to do more, and OC artifacts. I think that the timing has been perfect for whatever reason.
Whereas if no one else shows up, this might just be a really quick one.
Hi Fabian, is this your first time in this
Yeah,
working
hi.
group?
Hi, this is my first time. I came here on rather short notice. I'm working at SAP on a, let's say somehow S-bomb packaging solution, and a colleague of mine told me or sent me a link to this meeting and told me that this might be interesting for me. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how I got here.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know if we are going to discuss anything specific to what your interest is, but let's see. Let's see. Maybe. Yeah, and yeah, since we don't have a whole lot of things on the agenda, maybe this will be a really quick meeting.
All right.
And the usual suspects are missing from the meeting. So
Okay. Yeah, wouldn't be
no, but
an issue anyway.
let's hear a little bit about your specific requirements. Maybe there's something to learn from what you have to say.
Oh, wow, I feel like I came a little too unprepared
No, that's okay.
for this.
You
Uh,
can
yeah, what would you like to know?
uh,
Or
so the motivation, right? So if you're coming into this artifacts working group, I think you wanted to learn something, or is there something you thought was useful that you could get from this? So what is that? Is what I would like to know.
for me, it was mainly to get to know other technologies in this artifact delivery technology space, to see how other people are doing this, or what might be the recommendation, how other developers approach the issues related with artifact delivery and artifact management in general, and to see how this compares to our approach, or how our approach fits into this.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I mean, our group, this particular working group deals with the Cloud Native Compute Foundation. So there is also another body called the Open Containers Initiative. So recently, the OCI side has released specs to accommodate for arbitrary artifact types. That is when so the support is coming both from distribution spec and image spec, and you can put in stuff there. And what has happened with that is the scope of artifacts is becoming wider and wider. People want to put S-bombs in there, apart from container images. They want to put all sorts of runtime things. And most recently, we have requirements on putting things like AI models as well, which are huge.
Okay. Well, the
And
AI model topic is not the most interesting or relevant for me, at least at the
yeah,
moment. But the whole idea of using OCI registries as a general blob store is quite relevant for us. We are kind of doing this already. Yeah, sometimes
okay.
hitting some limitations or some issues with the current implementation of Docker or other registries, but I think we're managing quite good so far.
Okay. So I think the in that case, let's just give you some links here, right? So this is one project that is quite active, and let me give you a few more because Brandon is here, so he's the author of the other one.
Interesting.
So these are tools that that are conformant to OCI specs 1.1.0. So these are all client side.
Yeah.
And there are various registries, including Docker, but I am the author of Zot. So Zot is another
Cool.
registry if you want to try it out. But this is again
I have used that already.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Okay.
Because I've had some issues with the I'm not sure how it's called nowadays. It's stored under distribution with this registry, with the Docker registry, and then I've tried a little bit or fooled a little bit around with the SOT registry. Yeah, generally I found it quite good. I think I can't remember exactly why I switched back and used the other one. I think there was some limitation that I have issues if I try to store actual Docker images.
Yes, actually, it is not a Docker registry. Yes, that's correct. That is one of the complaints that we keep getting.
But
and
wouldn't
we
it
have
be
been
easy to just allow the config type anyway?
yeah, we have been evaluating that, but for some reason there are other things that get higher up on the priority, and we get to that. So when we started the project, the idea was to just stick with OCI specifications. And when you start involving Docker, it has many variations. So at least that is the reason I'm giving. But we'll see. We'll see if we can get to it.
I feel like you're going to keep getting this request over and over again, Ram, until you finally
Yes,
add it.
I know. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's a user complaint, right? All user complaints are valid. So
I feel like the more he hears it, eventually he'll give in to the peer pressure.
yes,
So
I think I will buckle under this pressure. Yes, I guess.
Okay, then I might join more frequently and complain a little bit each time.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll have to get to that somehow. Okay. One release cycle, I think we have to dedicate completely to supporting that. We'll see.
Okay.
I get the feeling that you're going to flip the switch one day and be like, that was so easy. Why did we wait so long on that?
I'm actually not aware what implications would be in Activate, or what the challenges would be in allowing Docker images, at least as a blob type.
That's correct. So that's the see the problem is Zart has moved very far ahead in terms of lots of features, and what the worry is, how do all these features interact with this? That's a short-term technical problem. Then the future problem is who maintains this. See, all of those things, right? So there are so we don't want to get into a situation where we take on more and the quality of the project starts dropping, right? So that's not a situation we want to be in. So let's see. I'm not committing to anything. I'm absolutely non-committal on this.
Yeah, I've also looked a little bit, not really deep into at least the Auras project. I haven't looked into the Rec client so far, but we currently use the actual Docker library to interact with OCI registries in our library, but we are not really satisfied with the experience of using Docker library. So we did explore some alternatives already. Especially we had the Auras library in mind, but we'll have to dive deeper into our possibility and evaluate how good of a fit they would be to us. To be honest, we would prefer a solution that's as close to the actual, where the library is as close to the actual REST API of the OCI registry spec as it can be.
Both are, yeah. So for that, yes, for that, both are very good. Both are excellent clients. You can try Rec client or you can try Auras. Both track the OCI specs very closely.
Okay.
And I'll add on to that the Go containers from Google. They've also got an implementation out there. There are a handful of them, and I think you'll find they're a lot easier to work with than Docker. Just not to knock Docker. I've got my captain shirt on today. It's just designed for a different purpose than what you might be trying to do. And so they're designed to be the container runtime. If you're just trying to move container images around and access the registry, I think you'll find some of these other libraries are a lot more suited to what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I think we're actually having some quite specific requirements, or doing some stuff that is like not the stuff that a usual client user would want to do, and that's why we did hit some of the limitations. Yeah, and it sometimes feels like the Docker library has a lot of do what I mean kind of APIs, and yeah.
Especially if you're trying to work with artifacts, not container images, you're just going to be
Yeah.
running against a lot of limitations on the tooling, just from what it's designed to do. It's just not designed for other purposes outside of what it's focused on. So yeah, Reg Client, whereas the Google Go Container Registry, Red Hat has their containers project out there. There are a handful of us that have all made different implementations out there. And
So you, did I understand it correctly? You are working on the Reg client, or you were working on the Reg client?
Yeah, I do the Reg Client, and that one, if you look at the API, it's pretty close to the OCI interface. You tell it the authentication, and then you're just doing manifest and blob push and pulls, and then there are a few adds on top of that for doing an entire image copy or some of the refer work and a few other APIs there.
Okay, I'll definitely have a look into it. So, not sure if it's a stupid question, but you're probably also not working just as open source developers. Or are you, or at what company are you employed? That's essentially the question I want to get to.
So typically the answer would be, no, I'm not just an open source developer. I've got a paying job. I'm just an open source developer. So
you are.
I do not have a paying job.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm the exception to many of the rules.
Yes. Yeah, I work at Cisco Systems, so.
All right. Is SOT driven or pushed by Cisco, or are you doing this like
No. It has been donated. So this is a project that powers some of our internal platforms.
Okay.
But there is no. I guess Cisco doesn't see this as a particular market advantage, so to speak. So that's why this has been given to donated to CNCF.
All right.
And we continue to maintain it, and we get contributions from all around the world. So as of now, I am the person in charge of triaging and doing all of these things. But it's in CNCF, so maybe sometime down the line things may change. Somebody else may take over, things of that nature. So. But just to know, I am the author of this, right? I started this project a couple of years ago. So
that's actually quite cool to casually meet the author of the project I've been working with for quite some time.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well.
Like meeting a celebrity. So how do these meetings usually go? Do you usually schedule presentations from some of the attendees, or?
Yes. So there are two groups at least I am involved with, and I guess Brandon too. One is on the OCI side. So OCI side is mostly about core container technologies, so not necessarily Kubernetes. And then on the CNCF side, it is Kubernetes and their cohorts, right? So we sort of sit on both sides, and the way the meetings go is usually the requests come from either the community members like ourselves, or from use cases outside, and things like that. So, and then they get put on the agenda. We talk about it. Some things there is interest in a couple of things, then we move forward with them, and others we drop. So that's how it goes.
Okay.
And of course, always community participation is always encouraged, because we want to hear voices, so that we know we are in the right direction of tackling important problems.
Yeah, definitely.
So just so you know, I mean, the OCA side, we are now looking at all the offshoots of the OCA artifacts work. So suddenly now there is a requirement of, just like I said, the AI model work, right? So a lot of people are asking about, hey, we have this very large artifacts. Can something be done to improve this, and so on and so forth. And some of that discussion is spilling over on the CNCF side, where we have somewhat related things like, hey, we have these large artifacts. Can we mount them into containers, the pods, and can you do it like that? So the common theme there is, um, um, I guess I guess there is a sort of a marriage between that is the specs, right? The OCI specs, the
Yeah.
image and the distribution and so on. So so it's interesting in both worlds, and progressing is being made. So let's, I mean, the discussions are more about understanding the use case and things like that right now. And I guess we'll move forward and make a standard around these things, our recommendations.
As a question related to that, what do you know what are the common size limitations, at least for the current popular OCI registries for let's say a single layer or a single blob within an artifact?
My short answer would be it is specific to a registry, but I think Brandon probably has a better answer than that.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics on individual registries. I feel like every once in a while you'll hit a limit around the 2 gig mark, just depending on implementation, how they represent the size. Otherwise, it varies.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're pushing 2 gig images, you probably have a good idea about your registry at that point of what your capabilities are.
Yeah.
2 gig layers in an image, and that would be compressed and everything else. So
Yeah. It's just interesting to us because the way we're using OCI as a blob store, we will probably hit that limitation soon, and we are aware that we will hit the limitation with a specific use case where, and we've already been thinking how we could dynamically, split such images into multiple layers to still be able to store them in the OCI registries. So that's the main reason why I was interested in that.
Yeah, OCI itself doesn't enforce any limit as far as I know. So it's again registry specific. So for example, Zot, in Zot, we don't enforce any limit. You can push whatever you want.
So if I host my own Zot registry, I would be able to push an, let's say, arbitrarily large image.
It is I would say the answer is your mileage may vary. So that all depends on your network, your disk.
Yeah,
There are a lot
sure.
of things in place. So which are things that out of control of Zot. But sure, you can. It shouldn't prevent you. So Zot by itself doesn't prevent you from doing all these things. So what our position on this is, if you want any of these things, all these things, you want to basically control their behavior, it is usually outside of Zot. You can put a rate limiter in front, you can put a load balancer, you can put whatever you want in front. So
our issue would anyway be that we have to support essentially all of the popular OCI stores that are currently around. So what would be, let's say, what would be even more interesting to us would be if the OCI registry had some way to communicate how big a single blob can be, because if we could ask the OCI registry beforehand, we could really know how we have to split our image.
On a large blob push, if you put the size in that push, there's potential that the registry could give you feedback before you send all the bytes. But outside of that, I think if you're looking to be a little bit more forward thinking of querying the registry before you can build the image, I don't know there's a good way to do it.
Mhm.
And even those registries that could potentially give you that feedback, I don't know that any of them are doing that today. It would be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we would probably start since we can't really rely on that information currently. We would probably just slice it around the 2 gig or right below the 2 gig mark.
I tend to see the exact opposite problem that you're facing, which is that people have over-divided their image, and specifically this is the Nix developers doing it these days, where they make a package, they make a layer per package they're installing or an application they're installing within the image. And you think of a Linux file system, it's got 100 different apps in there, and so they'll have all these different layers in there for all the different commands they're loading in. So it's interesting to see people that are facing the exact opposite problem. I've got this one huge layer, now you split it up.
Yeah, but that's probably related to how we use the OCI registry, because our technology, the open component model, which is the standard we developed at SAP, it's actually open source, tries to abstract different package management systems, and we just pull, from different package managers, we essentially access the actual artifact, and allow to transport that to different kinds of storage technologies. And one of that kind, actually the primary kind currently, is OCI. And when we just so we really just use OCI as a blob store, and if we just pull a package from a different storage technology and pack that into an OCI artifact, it might be quite large, because we usually just put it in one layer, because we don't artificially split the artifact.
Yeah, so your complaints, you're already complaining about a few gigabytes. The AI model guys are complaining about a few 100 gigabytes.
Okay, we are not there yet, but let's see what we can come up with. Yeah, so if you're interested, I'm not sure if you're doing things like this, but if you guys are interested, I could also prepare a presentation about the open component model for some of the future meetings. But I'm not sure if this is the perfect scope, or if this working group is the perfect scope.
There's nothing wrong with learning about things. So go ahead, and if you're up to it, yes, we have to. I mean, we have had people present about WASM, WebAssembly, and things like that. So yes, absolutely.
All right. Then I'll probably prepare something for some meeting in the future. No
Sure.
promises when I manage, but would be cool.
Sounds good.
So I don't want to keep you guys any longer,
I think
just because of me.
No worries. So it's I think we can call an partly early end to this meeting. We went 30 minutes into this. It was a good discussion.
It was great to get to know you guys.
All right. Thanks for dropping by, Fabian, and hopefully it was time well spent.
It definitely was. Just getting to know you was worth joining here today.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Have a nice day,
Thanks a
everyone.
lot. See you soon.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.